And what got me out of my darkness was his love for me in the midst of my darkness. He didn't say, Brett, once you get that act together, then I can really love you. He said, Brett, I love you. The difference was I was willing to let him interrupt my plans. The difference was I humbled myself to actually have a relationship with God. I surrendered in a moment, and then God introduced that love that radically changed my life. But that guiding factor of experiencing the love of God doesn't stop there. It begins there because it's meant to be shared with others. See, God demonstrates love without hypocrisy. There's no hypocrisy in his love. In other words, we don't pretend to love. He didn't pretend to love. He really loved us. And we don't pretend to love. We really love people. And we show God's love how? In word and deed. More importantly, in deed than word. Because we say love a lot, but we really don't live it. Why is that the only debt? Because Christ has given us so much love, we're eternally in debt to it. Because of what he did on the cross, God so loved the world that he gave his only son. What he did on a cross is the absolute demonstration of love for us. And we're indebted to that love. And Paul gives us an understanding for Christian ethics, how we should live a life of faith. Paul gives us this understanding. What does it mean? Be willing to do for others whatever you would do for yourself. Because we can treat ourselves pretty good. But he's saying, are you treating other people that way? Are you loving other people the way you love yourself? And when we do this, it's our love that completes the law. That we do this. That all the commandments and the way we conduct our lives is on the basis of God's love and what it means to love one another. That's the main point. It's all based on that. Church, words have power. These words have power. And how do I know words have power? Have you ever said something you wish you never said? Don't raise your hand. In the heat of a moment, and you're not acting out of love. Love left the room 10 minutes ago. And anger takes over. Rage sets in. Our emotions get the best of us, and then something comes out of our mouth that as it's coming, we're like, no, and the words fly out. And we just communicated something. And when we did that, we realized words have power. Same is true when truth is spoken into your life. When you discover the words of truth, his words, they have power. They have power. And the rise and fall of every relationship is communication. It's a rise and fall. It's not no, finances are our problem. No, finances is your problem because you're not talking about money. Finances isn't your problem. The problem is that you're not communicating. You're not building that relationship, understanding your words have power. And together, as you communicate them, your words can become more powerful together. But it's essential for every relationship. Finally, a sign of that love is trust. What is trust? Trust is complete evidence in reliability, honesty, and strength. In other words, trust is evident. Trust, it's this complete confidence and reliability. Like, I trust you, you're going to pick me up from the airport kind of thing. Not like you don't call the person who's probably not going to show up or sleep in. That's a small understanding. But what we know about trust is that I have this complete reliability. There's this honesty. There's a strength that a bond can't be broken. I've said this before. I think some of the problems that we're seeing in our culture is people say they have faith, but they don't trust God. That's impossible. I would say you don't have faith if you can't trust God. He brings you to a place of faith is learning to surrender and trust him with everything. It's his confidence of knowing who he is and trusting him on being strengthened. Here's what I know about trust. Trust is earned, not guaranteed. And how do I know that? Because if you've broken trust, you can't just say, hey, trust me. If you've broken trust, you've got to work trust back in. You've got to build trust back in a relationship so it will strengthen that. And trust is a sign or that evidence of God's love. So when we clothe ourselves with Christ, it's his love that allows us to complete the law. You can't complete those laws without his love. But they can be fulfilled and completed when we clothe ourselves with Christ. We complete the law. And here's what I'm going to tell you. If we get this, if we understand this, if we obey those commandments, the first 4, the following 6, we love God, we love people. If that's what the church looks like on earth, here's what I know will happen because it was Jesus' plan. He says, you'll go and you'll change the world. Amen.